friends, a warm welcome to all of you. Look at those beautiful mountains. One of the reasons why Kerala is named as God's own country is the presence of these elegant mountains. As we all know, these are the Western Ghats, the mountain ranges that stretch along the west coast of India. But these guardian ranges are in terrible trouble and it's time to act. We, the NGC members of Government Vocational High Secondary School Boys Chittur-Palakkad, would like to share a few facts and views about the Western Ghats as a humble gesture to create awareness about the need for conserving these mountain ranges. First, let us take a quick glance at some of the basic facts about Western Ghats.
Western Ghats, the natural green barrier of India, starts from the south of river Tapti in Gujarat, stretches about 1600 kilometers and ends at the southern tip of peninsular India. It's one of the World Heritage Sites declared by UNESCO and one among the biodiversity hotspot in the world. It is also given the name Sahyadri, which means the benevolent mountains.
Now, let's look into the role played by Western Ghats. First and foremost, the climate. The soothing climate that we experience in the peninsular India actually bestowed by Western Ghats. Acting as a barrier, moisture-laden monsoon winds, Western Ghats play a key role in providing South India to the right quantum of the rain. Moreover, all major rivers in South India originate from Western Ghats. Thus, the agriculture in these states along west coast crucially regulated by Sahyadri.
The Western Ghats is a veritable treasure house of biodiversity, and that is the next important role played by it. Though it covers only just 6% of total land area in India, but harbors more than 30% of India's biodiversity. It contains exceptional levels of plants and animal diversity which are endemic to Western Ghats, which means they are found nowhere else in the world. The most extensive rainforests occur at the Western Ghats, and it is the home for at least 325 globally threatened species like the Nilgiri thar and the lion-tailed monkey. With 2 biosphere reserves and 30 national parks in it, the importance of Western Ghats in supporting the biodiversity need not be explained much more.
Now, coming to the economical role of Western Ghats, be it minerals like iron and bauxite, or spices like pepper and cardamom, Western Ghats is always the major lending hand. The morning tea, the newspaper, the furnitures, even the matchbox has its root source as the Western Ghats.
Many forest-based human communities derive their sustenance from the non-timber forest produce that the mountains provide. For enjoyment, again the mountains are the resort. Ooty, Coorg, Tekadi, Munnar are no wonder the favorite tourist destination. For worship, we have the Shabarimala, Mahabaleshwar and many other famous pilgrim centers. Last but not the least, it is a major source of hydel power too.
Yet, in spite of all these potentials, ecology in the Ghats is severely damaged. Let's try to understand the threats faced by the Western Ghats. Deforestation is the most important damage as it is the key aspect needed for any developmental activities. More than 50% of the forest is lost in the past 1 century. The forests are degraded for the purpose of mining, hydel dams and human settlements.
Loss of biodiversity due to habitat loss and poaching is the next major threat. The tide of eco-degradation is sweeping over the entire tract, destroying most of the biodiversity. This is of serious concern as many flora and fauna are endemic to Western Ghats. A steep increase in construction works across the country has led to illegal mining, both for minerals like iron and bauxite, and also river sand. This has shattered the ecosystem, leaving blotches across the picturesque landscape and deep trenches in the otherwise shallow rivers. Above all, polluting the entire ecosystem.
Now, as we have said, it's time to act. Let's see what can be done to guard these guardian ranges. First thing that we need is a thorough study about the current status of this vital part of our country. Though several studies have been carried out, the data still remains inadequate. Without a clear picture of what is going on in the ranges, all the developmental activities will be unsustainable. Lack of landscape plannings or assessment on the ecological impacts while implementing major projects has degraded these iconic mountain ranges of India. So, integrations of the developmental plans with ecological impacts studies has to be made mandatory. Amending the rules to be curbed illegal mining and poaching is also very much needed.
Along with amending the strategies for development, natural regeneration and ecological restoration works has to be carried out for regaining our natural landscape. Natural regeneration, though a slow process, involves the establishment of a new forest by self-sown seeds and other propagules from the existing trees. Ecological restoration involves restoring the lost ecosystem by active human intervention. Phytoremediation, that uses plants to clean up the mine sites, can be considered an initial cleansing up of these sites followed by planting up of indigenous flora. An inventory of the indigenous vegetation has to be collected for this purpose, which may be done with the cooperation of various grassroots level organizations, youth clubs, eco clubs and NGOs. A united effort has to be put into this process where even the support of students like us can also be taken. This all may seem a bit tough and a bit time consuming, but it's definitely not impossible. Now let's watch a video on ecological restoration. This is a 4-step strategy implemented by Kajor Peninsula of Indonesia.
RER, a collaborative approach to restore damaged ecosystem in Indonesia, follows a 4-step approach for eco-restoration. These are protect, assess, restore and manage. First step is to protect the area from further damages like fire, encroachment, illegal mining and canals. Second step is to assess the existing condition and to prepare an inventory of the natural vegetation. Seedlings of the native flora is to be raised in nurseries. Along with this, awareness about the works have to be given to the native settlements. Restoration is the third stage where the seedlings and other planting materials have to be planted in the site. Final and toughest stage is to manage the site, for which a collaborative effort is needed.
Many such works are being carried out in Kerala also. Look at this picture. This is Keshavapara, a famous tourist spot in Nelliyambadi. Just by preventing the entry of tourists to this place, the growth of natural vegetation could be regained over the rocky track just within 5 or 6 years. Another major work done is the creation of a natural forest near Chittur River, which was nothing but an empty rocky hill 2 decades back. Palakkad is famous for black palms, but illegal and illicit use of these has led to a decline in the number of these iconic trees of the district. An effort to replenish these black palms by planting seeds along the road and riverside has also started giving positive results. This has also helped in riverbank rejuvenation. All these works are being carried out under the guidance and support of Sri S. Guruvayurappan, South India Coordinator, Wildlife Protection Society of India, along with the uniting partnership of Ashrayam Rural Development Society and South India Tree Planters Meet. Much more of such works are what is needed for our Western Ghats. With a cooperative effort, we can regain the lost splendor of our guardian ranges.
That was a brief account of the significance of Western Ghats and the needs to conserve it. don't think this as a matter concerning only the Western Ghats. It's now clearly evident and proven by the scientists that the changes in the climate and season all over the world are mostly due to the deteriorating environmental conditions across the globe. This need to be addressed on a war-footing strategy. Our nature need to be given the deserving care and concern. Else, we will keep experiencing floods, landslides, droughts and other unprecedented and severe ecological vagaries. So, let's all try to do whatever we can in our own tiny little way to protect our environment. My dear friends, let's join our hands for our nature and be the true warriors of our Mother Earth. Thank you.